You're watching us live from Lumiere in the East region of Cameroon. It is time for the news here on DBS Television. We begin with the headlines. The Littoral region can now stand tall to boast of an artisanal center for the exhibition of artistic work. It is a center that artists in the region can now register to showcase their know-how. The center was inaugurated today, as we will have in this newscast. And in the Southwest region, the Basoe Cultural Festival has been built for the month of November 2018. It will be an occasion for these coastal people to go back to their roots and to promote social cohesion with other Cameroonians from other cultures and backgrounds. Details of these stories and more up next in the news. Please do not go away. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the primetime edition of the news here on DBS Television. Today is the 29th of June 2018. We begin with this cultural news. A ceremony to inaugurate an artistic center in Douala took place today in Yassa and was presided at by Nyende Samuel Celestin, who represented the governor of the region. Our reporter Vanessa was part of that ceremony and brought back the following report.
The ceremony for the official launching of the Rural Art Gallery in Yassa, Douala, took place June 29 with the representatives of the governor and the DO of Wuri. The objective of this trade fair is to sensitize, inform and present to the public this artisanal center through the medium and small size enterprises that will be present. This will create a better platform for craftsmen to showcase their talents and carry out exchange in the national and international fair. This artisanal trade fair is open to the entire public since it will go a long way to expand the promotion and commercialization of craft work through exhibitions.
Them to go to informal sector to formal sector. This migration assure us, what do you call it, the new activity, to create new activities for the person that don't have anything to do.
The coordinator during his address said it will also serve as a visual gallery where amateurs and professional craftsmen will meet to expose their product through the internet. Bringing together this structure, however, suffered some setbacks.
To open this structure to the public, before reach this level, we have worked very much. First, in administration. Secondly, to go through the region to meet exhibitors, yes, to meet them in the locality.
Also, it will create an atmosphere to promote and commercialize their produce. It will be an opportunity to promote a competition in the craft market. This rural trade fair will run for a week in a bid to provide a green space for all the craftsmen to showcase their talent and thereby expand the craft market.
In a related development, the Littoral region now has a trade fair village specifically designed for the exhibition of arts and craft work. The opening ceremony kick-started this June 29, like we heard in the preceding report, and the trade fair will run in that center from the 5th to July 5th. Our reporter Wambe Tansi Mirabel took part in the opening ceremony and now presents the center and the exhibitions in this report.
4 divisions in the Littoral region can now boast of a trade fair village designed for the exhibition of art and craft works. It is good news for art and craftsmen who may no longer struggle with their produce but simply registered in this village and be in possession of workers on standby to assist them push through with the marketing. A daunting task, the assistant coordinator says, was not an easy ride.
We have this like a challenge to open this structure to the public. Before reach this level, We have worked very much, first in administration, secondly to go through the region to meet exhibitors, yes, to meet them in the locality.
Visiting some of the stand by the governor's representative alongside the staff of the trade fair village, and a vangu of locally made whiskey from cocoa was served by the august guest. Other fine works of art could also be perceived, like charcoal. This lady explained has been fabricated locally with plantain peelings, and its flame can last for more than 4 hours. A wine stand, flower jars for decoration made from mango was greatly applauded by the coordinator of the fair, who have encouraged these craftsmen to use this village as an opportunity to showcase their savoir-faire both nationally and internationally. Beautifully made designer shoes and slippers from the northern region also had their space during the event. Bitter cola juice, garlic juice recommended by some physicians to diabetes and seropositive patients were all on the exhibition stands. A kitchen, a restaurant, photo shop and a section for decoration were being partitioned in order to distinguish the different items and facilitate a job for both the exhibitors, buyers and visitors. The coordinator of the trade fair village says it is his wish to open a visual gallery within this structure which will add to the variety already at hand. He is therefore urging all craftsmen to be part and parcel of this program, which will not only encourage the sector but will go a long way to boost the economy of the country.
This trade fair village will run from today the 29th through the 5th of July 2018. Like we heard in our lead stories, a festival Diop Basowe has been announced in the southwest region to run from the 5th to the 24th of November this year. It is a cultural jamboree that will bring together some 9 tribes from the southwest to exhibit their historical and cultural heritage of the coastal people. We have details with Rael Ule Abia.
Announced for November 2018, the Basua Festival is a concept embedded in the Sawa culture that seeks to exploit the memories and heritage of the people who are of the coastal region. It has a historical backing.
The concept of this festival come and put on the tableau the Cameroonity, our capacity to live together, coming together and take up historical challenge which is before us. It's very important to learn to our people that people of the coast are people who have what people come in our country. By that antiquity of their history, there are people who can tell to other Cameroonians that this is our history.
Faced with the ongoing crisis, the festival is expected to be part of a solution, giving the possibility for much to be told of the coastal people who are said to be the first to get in contact with the colonialists. It would be an opportunity for exhibitions to be done, projecting the history through art, dance, food and the traditional regalia. Initiated by Ayok Benson Matthias, the forum questions the aspect of the people's identity as Cameroonians. To Bandakani, sharing the concept, the Basua Festival would be a step to end in the Anglophone crisis, which to him is caused by the people's ignorance of their culture and historical values. But it is time to put in practice the aspect of social cohesion or living together. The first edition is expected to take place at the Omispo Stadium in Moliko Boya, the capital headquarters of the Southwest region.
We come back to Douala. The question of the scarcity of potable water in the city of Douala is no longer news to city dwellers. While others go for boreholes to have this precious liquid, some neighborhoods have it in abundance, flowing all day long, free for all. We have details in this report. Water is life, so says an English adage. This precious liquid is found in a majority of places, yet many are suffering because they lack the appropriate water to use or they do not have it completely. With this unbalanced situation, other neighborhoods are going with dry taps, while others like this one at Newtown Airport, Douala, has water flowing in abundance. This nature's gift has become free for all good as there is no one to control. inhabitants do no longer buy water here, one tends to doubt if the authorities in charge of water distribution are aware of such broken pipes. An inhabitant of this quarter who opted for anonymity says they now consider this as nature's means of blessing them with potable water. Before then, they depended on boreholes or forage for drinking water. Since it flows 24/7, some of them say they can carry as much as they have containers. This water has been flowing like this for close to 2 months. One disturbing factor is how clean this water they drink is. The same water they stand in, like in this case, is the very water they carry. And so the blessing they apparently are claiming may turn out to be a source of waterborne disease if appropriate checks are not put in place. We remain in Douala. Visitors in some neighborhoods in the economic capital, Douala, run the risk of going back with a bad image of the city in particular and Cameroon in general when it comes to the road network. Given the dense traffic often on our roads, driving from Nyala Chateau towards Ndokoti, especially at the point where the rail crosses the road, is a nightmare. Rael Ule Abia visited this area and now reports.
This is what has become of the stretch of road leading from Ndokoti to Chateau Nyala in the Douala 3 municipality. It is a nightmare driving through. The state of degradation is so bad even bike riders, talk less of pedestrians, have difficulties using the road. Talking to road users, it is so difficult getting across. At some hours of the day, it is all traffic. If it does not cause a delay, it helps to destroy cars, given that cars get stuck in some of the potholes. It is all galloping through Nyala to Ndokoti. Likewise, it all started as a bird's nest, only to be transformed with time to an elephant's bed. Bad for the state, given that this road should be leading to one of the stadiums to host the African Cup of Nations 2019. Apparently, this is not at the level of the municipality, so the mayor has nothing to do here. But it is at the level of the government delegate to ensure that roads are maintained, rehabilitated or constructed. Unfortunately, nobody is doing a thing. Either the powers that be are not aware of what is happening here, or they are negligent as always. While the road Ndokoti Nyala is getting worse, renovation works are ongoing on the stretch of road Chateau to Yassa, as if to say it is a mockery. More tar is added to tar. For now, road users are urging the mayor of the Douala 3 municipality to sit up and do something about this stretch of road that leaves much to be desired. As a matter of fact, it is a way in from Yaoundé and way out from Douala. It is time the powers that be step up implementation strategies to produce roads that depicts a country expected to emerge by 2035 and to host the AFCON 2019.
We hope adequate measures will be taken before 2019. And now in our foreign page tonight, the U.S. State Department has released the latest annual Trafficking in Persons report, and it shows Myanmar has joined the ranks of South Sudan, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea and others as the worst offenders in the world for human trafficking and forced labor. This department has equally recognized 10 heroes, among them Africans who have dedicated their lives to ending this modern slavery. We have details, Ketsi, VOA.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was joined by presidential advisor Ivanka Trump to release the State Department's annual Trafficking in Persons report. He had bad news to relay on Myanmar, formerly known as Burma.
In Southeast Asia, Burma's armed forces and others in the Rakhine State dislocated hundreds of thousands of Rohingya and members of other ethnic groups, many of whom were exploited through the region as a result. Some in the Burmese military also recruited child soldiers and subjected adults and children from ethnic minority groups to forced labor.
Pompeo also singled out Libya, North Korea, and Iran as among the worst offenders, saying Iran punished victims of trafficking instead of the perpetrators.
Francisca Awa Mbuli.
But the ceremony also honored 10 heroes dedicated to ending human trafficking, who have often put their own lives at risk. Awa Mbuli from Cameroon experienced modern slavery herself.
When I arrived at the Gulf Cooperation Council, there wasn't a job teaching English. I was trafficked into slavery as a domestic worker, where I didn't earn anything but inhuman treatment and sexual abuses. When I said that I wanted to go home, they told me that I had a debt of $3,000, which I had to pay, and then pay my flight back home. This was a lie.
She now leads programs to economically empower women who are survivors of human trafficking in Cameroon. Another Hero Award winner said everyone can do their part to fight human trafficking by being a conscientious consumer.
In many cases, I found that the companies has been complicit in human trafficking in their supply chain. So we can put pressure on the company by saying that I do not want to buy the tainted product.
Kim Young-chul has exposed forced labor conditions in South Korea and globally, particularly of migrant fishermen. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Washington.
In Europe, European Union leaders reached a deal early this morning on migration. French President Emmanuel Macron said the agreement was a European cooperation, as we hear in the following report and more by VOA correspondent.
Nous ne sommes pas une île.
We are not an island, and we must be able to face up to this challenge while remaining loyal to our values and protecting our people and national cohesion. Tonight, we took an important step. Many predicted the impossibility of an agreement. Many predicted triumph of national solutions. Tonight, we have succeeded in finding a European solution, a way of working in cooperation. Thank you.
Well, the deal establishes reception centers for migrants and asylum seekers in EU member states that are willing to take them in. Italian Premier Giuseppe Conte says Italy will decide later whether it will host any of those reception centers. EU leaders plan to establish screening facilities in northern African countries to help stem the flow of people crossing the Mediterranean to get to Europe, often through Italy. As yet, no African country has agreed to host a screening post. EU leaders hope to entice them with aid money. Arrivals to the continent have dropped sharply since the migration crisis peaked in 2015, creating deep divisions among the EU's 28 member states about how to respond. Some countries promoted more open-door policies, but others set up barriers to prevent those who reach Europe from crossing their borders.
Jehovah's Witnesses have a long history of being persecuted around the world. Their activities are banned or restricted in several countries. They are considered an extremist organization in Russia, while their members are imprisoned in South Korea and Eritrea. We have details again, VOA.
Hello, we are asking Russian speakers one question. Should people listen to the advice of the Bible? No. This is New York State, where the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses is located, in the town of Warwick.
Bible education work.
From here, the witnesses direct the preaching of their beliefs and track the violation of their members' rights in various countries. These buildings, like the organization's other offices, are known as Bethels and are operated by volunteers known as Bethel families.
So this is the area where the dining room is.
Life in a Bethel resembles that of a commune. Jehovah's Witnesses live and work here and eat together at a canteen. The building has everything its residents may need, from a dentist's office to a dry cleaners and hairdressers. And though technically everything is free, Bethel families still pay for what they get by foregoing a number of rights and freedoms. For example, they are not allowed to have children.
And you go through times maybe that, the desire to have children is stronger. But at this point in our lives, we're focusing on, our work here, educating promoting Bible education among Jehovah's Witnesses in the worldwide field.
Jehovah's Witnesses have about 8.5 million members and 120,000 congregations worldwide. They call themselves true Christians, but witnesses worship Jehovah and not Jesus Christ. They don't recognize the Holy Trinity, don't worship the cross, or celebrate Christian holidays. They are known for questioning traditional reading of the Bible and having repeatedly predicted Armageddon. The most controversial religious belief of witnesses is refusal of blood transfusion, even under threat of death. This belief has led to many deaths that could have been prevented.
My family was just faced with that situation, where we had to make a decision, my wife, whether she would accept a blood transfusion or not. And she decided not to do that, and she sought alternative methods.
Such beliefs have led to opposition, at times harsh, from communities and governments around the world. In Russia, the organization is considered extremist and banned. In the US, there are over 1 million members of Jehovah's Witnesses known as ministers who teach the Bible. They learn foreign languages with one purpose: to preach.
Hi, привет. Did you download the brochure Who Are Jehovah's Witnesses?
Door-to-door preaching is a priority for Jehovah's Witnesses. That is how they try to spread the word of God and their interpretation of the Bible. They rehearse and perfect the art of preaching during meetings like this. They also teach their children to preach from a very early age.
I started preaching when I was 5, but I was going from door to door with my parents much earlier than that.
Literature used for preaching and Bible studies is printed in 10 major plants that export to other countries. One of the largest ones is located in Wallkill, New York, an hour drive away from the headquarters. Here, witnesses publish their main magazine, The Watchtower. Jehovah's Witnesses say they are not planning to stop what they're doing. Despite being ostracized and misunderstood, they continue to preach and spread their beliefs every day.
Once again, I'm working. In that case, we can come some other time. No, I'm not interested.
Anusha Vitisyan, VOA News, New York State.
And in sports, we now talk football. As the 2018 World Cup unfolds, many supporters in most cities, like in Douala, chose to watch the games on giant screens stationed on major junctions. Ate Bonaventure watched one of the matches at the Ndokoti Junction, where numerous fans have been gathering daily and now paints the ambience that prevails there during such encounters. His report.
The pomp and pageantry that usually characterize great football tournaments like the World Cup has pushed fans, especially those who are still hustling to resort to public viewing. The Ndokoti Junction in Douala 3 has since the beginning of the 2018 FIFA World Cup been transformed into a veritable fan zone where as from 1 p.m. taxi drivers and commercial bike riders park their cars and bikes just to enjoy the thrilling moments of football through this giant screen. Even roadside vendors and hawkers put their businesses to a halt. The ambience here is not different from what is happening in the field. The dribbles, the tackles, the misses and the goals make everyone react in his or her own way. Even passers-by gaze at the giant screen. The elimination of the last African country, that is Senegal, this Thursday was a bitter pill to swallow, as everyone expected the team to save Africa's face by qualifying for the 8 finals. Even after the blow of the final whistle, die-hard fans still had their eyes focused on the screen, not believing what they have seen. That is called fanatism.
That is fanatism. That was the bit we put together in this edition of the news, a news in which we were informed about the Littoral region, which can now stand tall to boast of an artisanal center for the exhibition of artistic work. It is a center that artists in the region can now register to showcase their know-how. And equally, the Basowe Cultural Festival has been built for the month of November this year. It will be an occasion for these coastal people to go back to their roots and to promote social cohesion with other Cameroonians from other cultures and background. The next newscast will be coming up at 9 p.m. in the French language with Luc Serge Didier Nang. As from Monday, you will be in company of another team. For me, we'll be together again some other time. Until then, have a good night and a blessed weekend ahead. Goodbye.